I don't know, Zeno. I mean, I'm looking at the rules here, and it doesn't say anything about the Red Ranger just being able to one-tap anything in here. Like, I know you want to kill everything in sight, but you can't one-tap, dude.
Yeah, but I'm a Power Ranger, and if I'm morphed, then I'm more powerful. And I feel like a swift kick to the face would do it.
What if we get him the Dragon Shield?
Oh,
I mean, then maybe.
I'm going to get the Dragon Shield.
We'll talk about that. But anyways, hello everybody, and welcome to session 3 of Power Rangers Spirit Force. I am your floating head of a GM. That is a Mighty Morphin reference. EtoInteract. Wearing a purple shirt, but is on the Blue Ranger spectrum. We have Miles G170 as Devin Johnson. His microphone's blue, though.
Hey, everyone!
He's just so glad to be here.
I am so glad to be here.
And wearing a not violent, but violet shirt is our Purple Ranger. I mean, you're a little violent,
Yeah, it could be violent. I mean, it's trying to one-tap people, you know. I stand by the swift kick to the face, though.
Xeno
going to do some
38
damage.
as Xander.
Woo! Woo!
So if you missed out on our last few sessions, session 0 is where we introduced these lovely characters, a little bit of their backgrounds, their likes, their interests, kind of what was going to be laid out before them a little bit. Session 1, we got introduced a little bit more to these Rangers. We also got to learn a few mysteries that they're holding on to and some mysteries that surrounded them. They got their morphers. Session 2, they got to learn how to use these morphers with the help of Jack Landers, who is the Red Ranger of SPD, Space Patrol Delta. As you guys do not know, we had a complete talk about the differences between Space Patrol Alpha and Delta. That was completely cut because my mic was shot, but now it's not, thankfully. Zeno, do you want to do a rant about the Space Patrols? Are you good?
We'll just touch on it. Essentially, the Space Patrol teams are the Rangers of the future, and there's several Ranger teams. There's not just one main team. They're kind of broken off into separate sectors, and they go out and essentially do missions. They're essentially like our police force or military force in the future in the Power Ranger universe. So Space Patrol Delta, of course, is, I believe that's the lowest team or the most entry-level team, and then it goes all the way up to Space Patrol Alpha, which in Once and Always, I believe, was the Power Ranger special. We found that Adam Parks and Aisha were a part of Space Patrol Alpha.
And what's funny is, like you said, Delta was the lowest. Mm-hmm. And Jack Landers was on Delta, but he was on Team B, which was like the lowest of the lowest team you could be on Delta. And they're the ones that saved the entire galaxy.
Mm-hmm. That's usually how it happens, you know?
I mean, that's Resident Evil in a nutshell, isn't it?
It is. It absolutely is. Stars. Okay. Look, I have my own Alpha 5. Look, like, I didn't even have to say anything. These two just did it for me. They knew immediately the sounds to make.
We understood the assignment.
Wasn't there an Alpha that was a villain in the comics before I, go off too much on a tangent?
So, he didn't start off as a villain. It was Alpha 1, and he was very literal in the sense of his justice. So, whereas Zordon's like, no, we can't just kill people, Alpha 1 was like, screw that. They're evil.
Why not?
We need to kill them. Otherwise, they're going to do bad stuff to other people, and good people are going to get hurt. And Zordon had to decommission Alpha 1. He did come back at one point and fought the Rangers, and he's pretty powerful. And in the most recent arc, he actually came back and joined forces with Rita Repulsa, who now has the powers of Master Vile. So she is like the single most powerful entity in the universe. So much, in fact, that Lord Zed has now joined the Rangers. He's kind of fighting with the Rangers, kind of not. He's kind of
like an anti-hero.
Yeah. He's like, I'm doing this for myself, but we need to stop Rita. And he actually imprisoned himself or let himself be caught so he could intercept the morphing grid, and created his own morpher and was able to morph into his own version of a Power Ranger.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's not go too much on tangents here, because that's not what y'all are here for. Eventually, we'll begin back on a regular podcast where we will have these kind of rants. So make sure to follow us on our Discord to be updated on that stuff. And we also have a Twitter, #selfplugin. We also have a YouTube and Instagram. We got a bunch of stuff. Check us out.
Almost anywhere you can find social media. We don't have a Threads yet.
Y'all even have your Threads yet?
No,
I don't have a Threads.
I couldn't make my Threads. I'm just not going to.
I don't really understand what it is yet. I haven't looked into it at all.
It's Facebook, Twitter. That's essentially what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it feels like Instagram mixed with Twitter.
It is. It is, because you have to have an Instagram account. We're getting sidetracked, y'all. We have attention deficit disorders.
What else is new?
What else is new? All right. So, scene. You guys are back in the command center. You just left the battle simulator. Jack Landers has his arms around both of your shoulders. He's kind of squeezing them tight with joy, not like an angry dad or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those, like, he's tapping on the shoulder. He's just like, yeah, good job. Because he's like so pumped up.
I don't know how to express my emotions any other way but being violent.
Not like that. Not like that. And he's like, yeah, when I first had a morph, it was kind of one of those like situations where, if I don't do this, people might die, people might get hurt. But, ultimately, stop myself from being a thief. Used to rob things all the time. SPD was actually after me there for a little bit until, they forced me to join them, or it was jail. I don't know why I'm disclosing this information to my students, but you know what? I'm sure professors have disclosed weirder information to their students, i.e. the DM was once told by his professors when they did opium. That was a fun conversation to have with a college professor.
You're adults now. You can handle it.
So, as he's walking you guys forward, you come into a room that's a little bit larger, but there's a gate with a keypad on it. Jack comes up to it and he's about to press a button and he's like, oh, crap. Hold on. I think I left my phone that I saved the PIN code on in the other room. You see him turn, but not towards the hallway. And he phases through a wall.
What the heck just happened?
Is he a ghost?
Hey, are we in the simulation still? Is this
Did
a simulation?
Die?
Maybe we did die in there, Devin. Did we die at the same time?
I mean, we may not even made it out of the situation earlier. Azul may have killed us. This may be the afterlife.
Is this a fever dream? Quick, pinch me.
Roll to pinch.
Yeah, I felt that.
Maybe ghosts can hurt other ghosts.
Why don't you two roll me? Let's go with an alertness just to see if you guys think you're still in the simulation or not.
I rolled a 5 + 4 to get a 9.
I got a 6.
Just a flat 6. Okay, so while you two are talking to each other, you still both firmly believe you may still be in the simulation. Would any of you like to attempt to touch the wall?
I'll do it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm touching the wall.
Yeah.
So you both look at each other with like a curious nature in your eyes. And you both walk up and start touching the wall. But as you're touching the wall, you feel that it's a wall. It's physical. You can touch it. It's not like a hologram or anything. It is a physical wall.
This is the one that the professor just walked through.
Correct.
I want to see if I can figure out how to get into the keypad.
I'm going to run straight at the wall and try to go through it.
All right, so let me do this step by step here. Xander, we're going to say you're like charging up to like run into this wall. We're going to start with Devin here because Devin was the one who announced what they would like to do first. Also, I realized in my TikToks, I spelled Devin wrong. I've been spelling it with an O instead of an I. That's on me.
I noticed, but I just went on with it.
I'll fix that in future stuff. All right. Anyways, so you want to mess with the pen pad. I'm going to assume you're going to be rolling for technology.
I am.
So you do get specialization, but since you don't have any points in that,
I'm still doing it.
Still doing it. Okay. So roll me a technology check.
Yeah, that was horrible.
As you go up to the keypad, you notice that there aren't numbers, there aren't alphabets, there's weird symbols on them that you only recently started to recognize on your weapons.
Hey, Xander? And then...
Well, right now, Xander's not even paying attention to you. He is about to run straight into a wall.
That's what I was going to say. I feel like she's turning to see this happen.
All right, let me take a look here at our skills. I'm trying to see what maybe a charge would fall under. Oh, push.
Athletics.
So that'd be a might. I'm going to count this under the push. So
19. Let's go.
So you build up, and just to Devin's amazement, you do like a full-on like linebacker tackle. Linebackers the people who tackle, right, Miles? Okay, I'm not a sports person, so I need somebody who knows sports to tell me.
Yes. Linebacker, defensive end, cornerback, safety.
We're going to go with linebacker with this one.
Works.
You start to do a full-on tackle like you're a linebacker. But even though you roll a very, very great roll, you still slam right into the wall and just fall right over because that is a solid metal wall.
Is this the difference between taking damage and not taking damage?
Yes.
With the roll?
I really thought that was going to work, though.
He still would have ran into it and hurt himself. But he's able to be okay.
She runs over. Xander, are you okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I really expected that wall to give way. I don't understand how the professor just walked right through it. Because we're ghosts, you know? I thought maybe I could do it.
And as you guys are talking, Jack walks through with a cell phone. He goes, I think I put it under my Google. He looks up and he sees Xander on the floor. What happened?
Oh, hey, by the way, the symbols on the keypad.
Oh,
are they? We can read them. I have
the English or Altari.
Yep. Jack looks over and he's like, "Oh yeah, grid speak."
Oh no, we can speak it. We can't read it.
You can speak it. You can't read it.
Remember, we had to decide on that.
But you can at least somewhat recognize it because it looks similar to what you've had on your weapons. Jack kind of still assessing the situation. He's like, "Yeah, that's grid." And he just kind of shrugs and he looks down at Xander. He's like, I'm shocked you didn't know that. And he rolls his eyes.
Teach. I gotta know something. Are we dead?
What do you mean, are you dead?
Is this purgatory?
Yeah. Are we in purgatory right now?
He's looking
How'd you just walk through that wall?
I forget you. Long story short, where I'm from, people are okay with aliens, and I can do stuff like this. And he reaches his hand through the wall and pulls it back, and he's like, it's kind of what made me a great thief.
Are you sure you're great? Because it sounds like you got caught a lot.
Yeah, does seem like you got caught by the Space Patrol Delta.
Caught.
No.
Hey, look, if it wasn't for me being caught, the future would have been really messed up. Think about that.
Do we know that for sure?
Yeah.
Have you seen the future where you didn't get caught?
Sounds like you're pretty arrogant, Teach.
He's about to say something, but he kind of just does a deep sigh and he's like, okay, let's just get this done with. He walks over to the keypad and he starts typing in a sequence from the grid, I guess symbols, I guess the word I'll use here. And a large door opens up. And he's like, let me show you guys what you are eventually going to be getting. As you walk through a hallway, you see a large red, what almost kind of looks like a sporty police car being observed by little tiny robots that kind of look like Eva from WALL-E is how I imagine them.
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
Is that a car?
Yes.
Is that your car?
This is my car, but it's not my 9 to 5. You're not going to see this on the community college campus.
Is it fast?
Oh, it is one of the fastest things on this planet, I can tell you that. Drumming his hands, he slaps the side of it. This, my fellow Rangers, we call a Zord. He's waiting to see, like, an excited reaction. But he sees
Devin
blank
has
faces.
no clue what he's talking about.
I've
No
seen
Power
Zords.
Rangers in this grid.
I've seen Zords, but that is definitely a car, Teach.
I'm sure in your grid they have Zords like this.
No. It was definitely a mastodon, is what it was. Like the prehistoric animal. It wasn't a car.
He starts to rub his temple and he's like, let me guess, they also had giant frogs too.
Yeah, actually. Yeah, when Dad
frog.
got the ninja powers, he actually had a frog Zord for a stint there.
Did Adam leave before Turbo?
No.
No, he was in Turbo.
Yeah, I was
he
gonna
was
say
their green.
he was, because he was Zeo Green and then Turbo Green.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Because Rocky left before Turbo because he tried to unionize the actors and got fired.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, that's actually
of them tried to
why he
unionize
got
multiple
kicked off the
times.
Power Rangers team, was he was trying to unionize actors like Austin
As a
St.
part of
Austin
the
did.
reason. Yep. Red Ranger tried to lead.
And that's sad that both times it was Red Ranger.
I think Rocky was blue by that point.
He was blue, and he was actually very upset he got demoted to blue.
He wasn't a Red Ranger.
Well, the
anymore.
actor was actually upset.
Yeah,
I mean,
but like
demoted.
All right.
Worst Red Ranger, worst Blue Ranger.
Where's the lie? All right. Enough about Rocky DeSantos.
We hate on him so much.
We do. So Jack's like, yes, this is a Zord. This beauty could combine with other cars, and don't ask how I was able to get this thing to come with me. That was a headache and a half to get around Azul.
I can imagine so. I mean, it probably was a little bit easier since it doesn't look like an actual Zord, though. You know, probably
Looks
flies
like a
under
car.
the radar there. It's just, car.
Well, car or not, this thing still can pack a wallop, And I don't know what Azul's going to do, because he kind of looks at Devin. I originally was trying to make something for Wilma. Something to kind of match her spirit and energy, and he looks back towards the Zord. And all I know is Azul did have monsters that he did send, and much like, and he looks at Xander, your Rita, I think was her name. I only read about her in history books. And he shrugs. These ones could get big. So I'd rather you guys be safer than sorry. Because I was originally designing one for Wilma to run, to get away, to hide. And he looks at both of you. And we're not running this time.
So you're not gonna make us car Zords then?
Oh God, no.
Good. It's, the whole car thing. It's just not making sense to me, Teach.
Well, you see, I had a car. Another person had an SUV kind of car. Look, we all had vehicles.
All right, by this point, Devin has started to kind of wander around looking at stuff.
Oh, so as you're wandering around, let me take a look at the character sheet. Since you have your curious nature, I want you to roll me with specialization your alertness to see what you see around you.
Oh my gosh.
Hey!
There's a nat 20, baby. That is a 23 total, a 20 plus my skill dice. I rolled a 1 and a 3, so I get to take the 3.
You're gonna see everything in this place.
So, according to this thingy here, this thing right here, you have, Miles. That was already a you were gonna pass this anyways on that scale, but you destroyed it out of the water.
Off the charts, baby, off the charts. I roll it when it matters. Big open area, low difficulty check. Let's roll the 20.
Yeah, right.
Gonna hit it when it matters.
As you're looking around, you happen to see blueprints and designs that the robots come over, look at, and then continue to scan parts of his Zord before they fly off. You notice it is a design for a large snake-like robot where a person is piloting it from, the head of the snake.
Does she see any mistakes in the blueprint?
You
or
know
anything that can
what?
be improved upon?
Why don't you roll me a technology check? Because I'd put that under technology.
Oh, that would be a natural 19.
Yeah, still very good. So as you're looking through, you don't really notice any mistakes, but you notice some things are penciled out. And it was the fact that this snake used to have wheels on it.
Mr. Landers, not everything has to be a car.
He turns around and he's like, hey, that was early design. Look, I was basing things off of this guy. This is the only Zord I've ever known.
Maybe
Didn't
I
you
could
say
help
you
you
knew
out
the
with that.
history?
Jack just kind of holds his hands up. He's like, look, all I know is Wilma was a blue snake. I was trying to design a snake. Thankfully, these little robots I saw from the command center in my grid kind of work better than I do.
So, you keep talking about different grids. We've never had Power Rangers here. So, did you build all of this, or was this something that you improved upon? Was this already here?
This, he kind of twirls his fingers. I kind of stole, but in all fairness, it was getting destroyed by Azul and a bunch of stomping big monsters.
So you salvaged it.
Yes, that's a better terminology.
Let's not make the heroes say they stole. You salvaged.
Salvaged. We salvaged.
Is there a way for us to learn about the history of other Rangers?
Oh, yeah. Follow me back to the big command center screen. I got something to show you guys. So you guys walk back down through the hallway. Xander keeps putting his hand up against the wall, not fully believing that he's out of the simulation yet.
I'm going to lean over to Devin and be like, how do you suppose he salvaged a whole command center?
I mean, he said he was good.
I guess so.
There's a lot. You guys keep talking about this grid. All I'm seeing is a lot of technology that shouldn't work but does. So I think, didn't we teleport here?
You guys did, and that's part of the grid.
I think that's how we got a lot of this stuff here.
That's fair. I mean, I've seen my dad teleport all over creation, but I didn't think you could transport entire sections of buildings and command centers.
It's called a grid blink. Believe it or not, you can move a lot of stuff if you're really using a lot of your color, which I kind of had to borrow again. And he looks down at his morpher and he's like, from an old friend. And he plays with it a little bit before he puts it back in his pocket. You know, after I retired, my friend Sky became the Red Ranger. And then after Anubis retired, and he looks back over at you guys, alien dog person, as he continues to walk forward. After he retired, well, somebody had to take over as the Omega Ranger, and Sky was the best fit, so he became the leader of Space Patrol Delta. He points up as the SPD lights that are lining the hallway. And if I remember correctly from my history books, points to Xander, your dad worked for Alpha.
I don't know if he worked for Alpha at this point, though.
Oh, must be my timeline then. And he continues to walk forward. The grid's kind of weird, Devin. So imagine you have one of those grids for your math class. Everything's connected, right? Well, there's different layers to this grid. This grid can go up, it can go down, it can go left, right. But the cool thing about it is it can go diagonal. It can go in any direction you can imagine. And somewhere that connects all these different grids is like a rainbow of energy. And he points at Xander. This one, just like me, happened to use Grid Blink to get around. That every single color of the rainbow that we know can use.
So since I'm from a different grid, right? Teach.
Yep.
Do you think there's another Xander on this grid?
Believe it or not, there could be. There's a whole range of possibilities when it comes to the grid. Heck, I mean, your grid had a Tommy Oliver. The grid I'm from had a Tommy Oliver. He looks at Devin. I don't know if this one does, but in our universes, he's one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, you guys finally make it to the room. This was introduced to Space Patrol via Tommy Oliver. He once led a team of more dinosaur rangers. He shrugged. Apparently there was a lot of those.
I bet their Zords weren't cars either.
I bet they weren't. And he clicks a button, and on the screen, you just see a bunch of different rangers across a bunch of different spectrums with various different colors working together. There's different rangers on different planes of different existences. Some were in space, some were in different galaxies, some were here on Earth.
Can I do a roll to see if I see Adam Parks on one of the teams
roll
or
me an
anything?
alertness. See if you can find them.
Nat 20.
Nat 20. So as you're looking through, you actually see your dad on quite a few of them, actually.
Do you see him with a car?
He does. Sees him with a green car.
Just gonna stand there and just start shedding a tear, just silently standing there as I'm observing it all.
And as he's observing it all, Devin also notices that Jack is looking at one screen in particular, what looks like to be a bunch of Power Ranger police officers. He does a deep, heavy sigh and he goes, doesn't really matter the grid. Every single one, more or less, if they're connected, they're going to have Power Rangers. And if there's Power Rangers, there's always an evil that needs to be defeated. Doesn't matter where, doesn't matter when. I thought maybe coming here, I could escape from that. And he kind of just shakes his head. I guess not.
So you connected my world to the grid. Power Rangers have not existed here.
That's the weird part. He looks over at you. The grid was here. I was able to get here, but as far as I could ever document, he's looking through. Power Rangers haven't existed until you guys. All right, fine. I just started hitting recording. Hello.
Woo! Let's go, ADHD. Murphy, stop playing your stuff.
Yeah,
I have
ADHD,
commercial
the most
right
wonderful,
now.
fabulous podcast you could ever listen to. It'll make you feel great and wonderful, and nothing bad ever happens there.
If you like a lot of this, and this, and this, and this, and this, go check out the ADHD After Dark podcast.
Yeah, that sums it up. That sums
Also
it
this.
up for me. Murky!
Murky, you can't do that.
Huge joke. It's actually super awful and explicit. Don't listen to it around your work, kids, or anywhere that might not be safe for work.
He's not wrong.
Yeah,
Thanks for
full disclaimer.
listening.
Yeah,
Full
wow.
disclaimer
Wow.
right there. We are not liable for anything that happens to you if you listen to this at work because it was your fault.
Okay, well, bye!
Goodbye.
There's a reason my dad sent me to this universe, though, right? I can't imagine he had the foresight that I was going to be one of the Power Rangers here. He sent me here because he thought it was safe.
Jack nods his head. That's my reasoning as well on why I sent myself here. Before I was found by Azul, I had to look through every space, and this was the only grid I could find where there was no records of Power Rangers. Like, sure, every color could reach here, but there was no sign, no knowledge of any Power Rangers. I thought, if anything, could lay low here, become a safe haven for other escapees from all across the grid. He shrugs. But I guess the power had been here the whole time.
We think there could have been others that escaped here. Do you think that Billy escaped here?
Jack
Said
kind of
something about her being a Cranston, and it sounds like they're really connected to the grid.
looks over at you and he goes, Cranston's more connected to the grid than you'd imagine. Kind of like what Xander was asking earlier about the whole, is there more than one me? Is there a possibility of another Xander being here? And he pulls up a clip and you see a blue Triceratops fighting what seems to be a less colorful version of those weird clay people you saw. And he goes, that, in my timeline, was the Billy Cranston. He founded Cranston Industries. He looks over at Xander. Did he start that up in your grid, or is that still... And he kind of just does this. Not there yet.
Yeah, last I remember, Uncle Billy was on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers team, and he fought alongside Dad.
Jack kind of nods and he's like, oh, just to let you know, this guy's going to boost a lot of stuff. So when he starts his company, tell your dad to invest big in his stocks.
Hope there's something for me to go back to after all of this.
You and me both. He presses a button and you see Billy across multiple different grids that were established. And he goes, as you can see here, this Billy Cranston happened to be on the autism spectrum, but he was his Blue Ranger on his team and was able to help his team overcome their Rita Repulsa and get the power of friendship to defeat her. And he turns around, looks at you guys, and he goes, there's so many different grids with so many different possibilities that Billy just happened to be a consistency among them. And he turns back over to the screen, and all I did was let her down. Balls up his fist, and he goes, if I could just stop running, things like that never would happen to Bridge, Sky, L. He does a deep breath and he goes, "That's going to change." Looks back over at you guys. It's going to change with you guys. I just know it. He quickly does a little smile and he goes, "But I don't want to take up your entire weekend of being rangers when you guys should be cleaning a forest."
Wait, we still have to do that?
Look, you guys signed up. I got to make it good. Like, make good on my promises too. But hey, you guys, I have something lined up for all my volunteers that's pretty special.
But don't we have bigger things to worry about right now?
Look, we're not going to be going to Azul. Azul is going to be coming to us. So I'm just going to make sure you guys are prepared. But just remember, you guys can't always be rangers. He walks up, he puts a hand on Xander's shoulder. Look, you know your dad couldn't 24/7 be in his suit and always be fighting. He had to be your dad and he had to be Adam sometimes, right?
I guess so.
Pokes you on your chest and he's like, then you still have to be Xander. But don't think that you guys aren't getting rewarded for your guys are doing, because I booked this for you guys. And he hands you guys a flyer of something that says DJ Fly on it. I booked us a DJ to celebrate us cleaning up the park.
Devin, do you know who this guy is?
She's not. How do you expect us to just go back and act like Billy didn't die saving us? Any time that I could be spending training and getting better and getting ready to avenge her is time better spent than listening to some DJ that, I don't know, probably works for like $20 an hour.
Oh, you guys are giving him too much credit. It was $10 an hour. He was cheap. But I see where you're coming from, Devin. It's something you learn to live with. It's never anything easy. In my time as a ranger, I've seen people come in, I've seen people go, and you can't stop. If you stop for even a moment, that's when you let Azul win. And the last thing we need is that guy. He points up at his screen. You just see just a photo of Azul who's standing over a pile of rubble, looking victorious over a crumbled, what looks to almost look like the command center you guys are in. Can't let that win over us. Sure, we could be training, but with something like that, we need to be offensive and defensive. And right now, we don't know what this guy's going to be hitting us with. So our first line of defense, of course, has to be the best offense, defense. And he looks at you guys. Just remember, we're not running anymore. Once he shows his foot on this grid again, we're going to let him have it. But I don't think you guys are quite ready. And don't you think people would also be questioning what happened to Devin and Xander if they also just disappeared from the forest? Don't worry about the whole Billy thing. I'll figure out something out. For now, you guys worry about Devin and Xander.
That still doesn't sit well. I'm not going to run in and do anything stupid, but this is my grid. I'm going to defend it with everything I have, and I'm going to care about every person that is on my grid. My grid's not going to be destroyed.
You agree, Purple?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Jack nods and he's like, let's make sure your grid doesn't end up like my grid.
How do we get back here
Oh,
to this base?
easy enough. He hands you guys what kind of looks like weird little earpieces. It's like, I know they don't look comfy, but you'll barely even recognize they're even in your ear, especially when they go see-through. He hands them to you guys and he's like, put them in your ear. And he puts his finger over at his ear and he goes, testing. Can you guys hear?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Sounds like I'm in your head, doesn't it?
A little bit. And I don't really know how much I like it.
And he points at Devin and he goes, thankfully, since we have a blue here, this one can learn how to make it so you can even listen to weird aliens. Like, if it wasn't for Sky, I never would have learned how to use this thing properly. And Bridge was always trying to flirt with weird aliens. Hey, look, you may be laughing now. Bridge eventually took over my position as Red, so that man knew what he was doing.
I guess so. Except he had a love for aliens, I guess.
He was our comic relief. Every team's got at least one.
So ours with your whole Charizard and stuff?
Must be.
Yeah, makes sense.
You're just going to be riding this Charizard thing into the ground, aren't you?
No, you're going to be riding the car.
I high-five Devin.
She awkwardly does it. She is not coordinated with this at all.
All right, so what I need you guys to do, head back to camp. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'll let you guys know when we need to do a little bit more training. For now, let's just get a few things done, all right?
All right.
Oh, and by the way, he points at your guys' as morphers. That can also allow you to do some grid blinking.
Grid blinking?
Yeah, the teleportation.
Teleporting.
So he walks over to his command center and he's like, just know blinking is a little, you might need Pepto-Bismol. He presses a button. The next thing you know, you see a flash of color before you're right back at your campsite.
I don't like that stuff yet.
Did he come with us, or is it just us?
Just you two.
I immediately head to where Billy, where we left Billy.
Devin, you good? Seem like you're on a mission right now.
Something of hers has to still be there.
Oh.
I'm going. She did a lot for us in a very short amount of time. I want to get something to remember her by.
I'm coming with you then.
So Devin and Xander reach that cave system where they last saw Billy. As you look around, it almost seems like there was never a scuffle here. No blood, almost no footprints, as you just see that was kind of left over from the night before. But it almost just seems like there was nothing.
Maybe this means Billy got away?
It doesn't sound like anybody's gotten away from Azul.
You don't know. Maybe he's capturing all the Rangers for some reason.
Possibly. I just know the scream that we heard didn't sound like someone being captured.
So since you are looking for that notebook, why don't you roll me an alertness? Is Xander going to be assisting?
Yes.
Roll me it with an edge.
I rolled a 19 and an 18, so we take the 19.
Woo!
My skill, I rolled a 2 and a 1, so that's 2 on there, so we're ending up with a 21, a critical success.
So it takes you almost no time at all where you see a sharp blue kind of poking out of the ground with a bunch of dirt around it, where you can kind of see where both Billy and Azul once stood.
I want to pull that up, but I also want to examine the area around it to see if there's anything else there.
So the pulling, it's going to be an automatic success. You don't have to pull, like, roll anything for that. But to check your area, roll me another alert. Alert seems to be the roll today.
Didn't quite make it this time.
We got a 14, base roll of 10 with a +4.
Yep. 1 point away from a success.
As you're looking around, you don't really notice anything out of the ordinary. Excuse me. Everything just kind of seems to be still, dark, nothing new, nothing different.
What kind of bad guy cleans up after himself?
One that doesn't want others to know he was here.
But here's the thing. I guess we can start walking back to camp while we talk. But here's the weird thing is this grid essentially is supposed to be off the grid. So what does he care? There's more to this grid than we think there is.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the other thing. You guys are talking a lot about time travel. What year did you come from before you came here?
In my universe, the year was 1999.
Okay, GM, what year are we in this grid?
You're currently in 2023.
We need to ask Mr. Landers what year it was where he came from.
Fair.
Real talk? With this grid, there may be a way for us to save everybody. I have a lot of work to do, but I need to get back to that base ASAP. There might be a way to save everyone in the end.
We should do a little bit of park cleanup work just to appease Teach.
We're gonna finish the weekend and do what we're supposed to do. But I will say, I kind of want you to show me some of those moves you were throwing at the enemy. I need to learn how to defend myself better too.
Sure, we can load up another simulation. I'm sure.
What about just you and me?
We could do that.
All right.
So it's the next day. Xander and Devin spent a little bit of the morning working on how to exactly throw punches and kicks. Xander's teaching
Devin
Billy.
doesn't tuck her thumb anymore, right?
Yeah.
Thumb outside.
Thumb outside.
Don't break your thumbs, guys.
Like, seriously, I think that's like the common mistake. You even see it in cartoons as like that. Thumbs on the outside. Like, no, this thing's easily broken. Protect it.
Do not put your thumb inside.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. You punch it
to the side.
Yeah.
So Xander is teaching Devin a few tricks before they happen to do some park cleanup. Devin, before you fell asleep, you also looked at the notebook, correct?
Correct.
In there, you saw some timesheet activities where Billy had planned out for you guys when you were going to clean. She also planned out like some kayaking trips. Like, you could definitely tell she wanted to make sure that this was the most fun time for you guys, but it also felt like she was trying to be friends with you guys as well. Any activities to get you guys to become closer companions to her. All right, so you two right now are in the middle of training. So Xander, what are you currently training her to do with your martial arts?
Show her how to do a high kick.
A high kick. Okay, so just for sparring, you won't be doing any damages. What I would like for Devin to do, you're going to be rolling me a might check.
All right, I do have a request.
Yes.
If she fails this, could she try it again with acrobatics? Try to tie her more agile nature into it.
Yes. I will allow that.
That's what I thought was going to happen. Oh, I rolled a 19 and a 4. Oh. So we got to take that 4.
All right, so you do kick high up in the air, but you kind of miss Xander's hand that he was trying to make you hit by like a mile.
A little tip I can give you that my dad gave me. I always thought it was kind of cliche and or just announcing that you were about to kick somebody, but you give a good ja really helps sometimes.
All right, Devin, let's try it with that here.
Yeah. I rolled 2 better.
I mean, that's progress though. You did better, and I mean, yeah,
I rolled
definitely
a 6 overall,
helped, right?
sorry.
It makes you feel powerful. Give it one more shot.
Okay. She settles down for a second.
Yeah, collect your thoughts.
Please don't land on my face. Please don't land on my butt. Please don't land on my face.
Positive thoughts here.
Yeah!
You kick straight up and land a swift kick right to Xander's hand with your roll of 15.
That's what I'm talking about. I knew you could do it.
14 plus 1 for our audio listeners. Oh, yeah.
So you deliver a swift kick to Xander's hand. While it might sting, I'm not going to give you any damage for that since it was just sparring.
That was so cool.
Right? Knew you could do it. We'll work on some more stuff as we go along here, but yeah, that's a great start.
All right.
So you guys finish up your sparring for that day, and you decide that you're going to somewhat follow Billy's original plan for you guys. You start to clean up your area near your campground. You find styrofoam, which Devin finds a bunch of styrofoam and rolls her eyes as she has a flashback to cleaning up that hillside. Xander's walking around. He sees a bunch of Coke cans and especially light beer cans. And he can tell that there was a party over here at one point, and these people didn't even bother cleaning up after themselves.
So disrespectful. Can I do a check to see if I see anything like in the trees, like any garbage in the trees or anything like that need cleaned up?
Roll an alert.
Ooh, roll a 9.
You look up and you don't really notice anything out of the ordinary in those trees.
Okay.
Devin, still cleaning up, is also playing with her morpher a little bit. She wants to try to grid blink controlled. She wants to try to like grid blink over here to go pick up trash over there. So she wants to go over there with her trash bag.
All right. So what I am going to make that as a roll, because that's going to be more of a movement based roll. Oh, okay. I'm going to make this an infiltration roll.
That's booty. Yeah, that's a 1.
You're looking at
I rolled
your
a 1 and a
morpher
14.
While you're checking it out, it just kind of looks like a really weird flip phone that says SPD at the top.
Xander, how do we work these?
You know, they're a little bit different than the ones back home. Let me see. I'm gonna start pressing some buttons and stuff and seeing if I can figure it out.
Okay, just because I'm curious how this is going to go, roll me a technology. Because I have two ideas in mind here.
16.
Right on the money. As you're looking through, you happen to notice these two little red buttons that kind of look like a little police siren that you just happen to click down on, and it teleports you back about 10 feet.
Whoa. I don't know how I just did that. I think I pressed the two red things together.
And you also notice that it's where you were standing before you walked over to help Devin.
Mm-hmm. So maybe this like records your last known stance or something? I don't know how this is really working, Devin.
We'll have to have him actually show us. He's holding us. He's treating us like kids, and we could be attacked again at any moment. And we barely know how to morph.
Oh, I know from Dad's journey as a Power Ranger, it wasn't always easy. And Zordon was his mentor, and he was kind of the same way. Kind of, even as adults, treated them like they were teenagers still. But I guess it's because he cares. He doesn't want anything to happen to us, too.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, eventually he's going to have to let us try some stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what are rules if they're not meant to be broken, though?
Well, for now, let's finish this weekend up. Let's see how crappy this DJ really is.
Ugh, I am not looking forward to this.
So as you guys fill up your bags, you head back to the command center, as Mr. Landers put it. And as you're...
Blink there?
It's the fake one. It's the one for the cleanup.
Yeah. It's
okay.
The fake one, not the real command center.
Gotcha.
As you're throwing your trash away, you notice there's some other volunteers there, but I want you both to roll me an alertness check.
I could have guessed that.
The number one check of the session, baby. Alert checks.
Mine's a 14 plus 1 to get me to a 15.
Mine's a 6.
So Xander, being little Mr. Airhead, he's just lugging everything into the recycling. You, Devin, happen to look over at our other volunteers. I almost said campers, at our volunteers. But you notice something a little off about these people. They look like they're all kind of ready to go hit up like a hot topic in the early 2000s. They're kind of all dressed in black. They look like they haven't slept in days. They're very pale skinned. And they're kind of just loosely lugging their garbage into the big green containers. Hey everyone, EtoInteract here, and I just want to thank you all so much for giving this session a listen. This episode went on for a little bit longer than we were anticipating, so I have to split it into two different parts. So the part you just listened to is session 3. The part you're going to listen to at a regularly scheduled upload time is going to be session 4. I hope you guys had a great time listening, as I had a great time DMing it. Anyways, don't forget, be kind, be safe, and make sure to be better.